All right, I'm actually really excited for you to watch this full interview with BasementRon and UFD. I normally don't do podcast interviews on this channel, but I've made an exception for an exceptional project, exceptional founder, and exceptional token. Now, this is not sponsored. This is all free will. I'm a free man. There's no gun to my head off camera. I actually think that this is going to go parabolic in 2025 and cross that $10 billion market cap level, giving you a potential 100x play. So let me give you the 5 reasons why I believe this to be true so you can make your own decision and then watch the full interview. Now, the first thing you need to know is Morad's thesis, the must-stop Morad thesis, that this is the meme coin super cycle. 2025 is our only chance to make generational wealth with meme coins specifically. And he thinks we're going to get a nice pump in the first quarter of this year, February, March, and then he thinks it might pull back, and then he thinks it's going to go exponential, parabolic, face melting, retire your great-great-grandkids sort of money in late 2025. Now, it's important to note, I believe UFD is one of those tokens that could make it that far and make it into the tens of billions of dollars of market cap, and it's not one that I'm personally trying to day trade up and down and gamble on. The second thing is I have a friend who called Chill Guy at a $1.5 million market cap way down here before it hit an $800 million market cap. He also let me know about Unicorn Fart Dust, the token we're about to talk about in the interview, when it was at a 20 mil market cap, and it's peaked at a $500 million market cap. He has an eye for these things. There's been a couple more examples of that. And he basically is full porting UFD along with some other really big people in the crypto world just because his conviction is so strong. He was actually going to launch his own meme coin and put that to the side because he's like, no, Unicorn Fart Dust. He's going to be dedicating his year to basically bull posting Unicorn Fart Dust. The third reason, have a look at the other big dogs in the market who are in. The founder of Dogecoin just coded a UFD post, and it's his biggest bag by far on his public wallet. The founder of Dogecoin, guys. This is Remy Rai, who called Peanut, the one that went to a $2.4 billion market cap, at $27,000. And he says, I bet all my chips that UFD is going to be one of the best performing runners for 2025. I mean, these are strong testimonials. Gordon Goner, who is the founder of Bored Ape Yacht Club, says it's literally impossible not to root for BasementRon and UFD after watching his live streams. Really dig this token and community, checks all the boxes for me. And you'll see BasementRon actually talk about Gordon Goner and his conversations with him in the interview. Now, the fourth reason is Ron's also reached out to me, and when I didn't reply, reached out again, organized an interview, made sure the calendar invite was right. We did the interview and has reached out to me since and being like, hey, how's the interview going? How's the editing going? When's it going up? He's so active and he's dedicating 16 hours a day to live streaming and reaching out to KOLs and making sure this token can actually reach the masses, which is always an excellent sign. Number 4, UFD is now back at a $116 million market cap down here after reaching $437 million market cap. Had a strong pullback. You can see right here, guys, it actually hit $57 million market cap at its low because, unfortunately, after this interview, the day after this interview, Ron got hacked by apparently another interviewer who had a screen share of his computer and stole 6.6 million of his UFD tokens. Now, the way Ron handled this adversity was also very impressive, very transparent, got on streams, donation wallets were set up, and they're building up his stack of his UFD beans again, and giving people like me a chance to get more at a lower price point before we put the hack in the rear vision mirror and accelerate as the meme coin super cycle continues. So without further ado, here is the full interview with BasementRon. Welcome, Ron.
Yeah, well, thank you, Benji. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Did you want to give a quick recap of, I believe it's just the last 6 weeks of craziness and excitingness that's been going on in your world?
Yeah, the last 6 weeks have been exciting, fun. I refer to it as like a very positive and good traumatic experience that's happened in our lives. Things are, starting to feel normal again to a certain extent, but definitely a new normal and a very good normal with the Unicorn Fart Dust.
Awesome. I'll give a quick recap from my understanding, and then you tell me what your experience has been. So you're always a gold and silver guy. You had a YouTube channel about gold and silver. I believe that basically you're saying Jerome Powell inflating the money supply, stealing money out of everyone's pockets. And was that why you originally went to gold and silver? And then there it is right there. What is it? The toilet paper?
Yeah, I'll do it quickly. It's the only thing I'll pull out. But yeah, you're correct.
And then what led you? I guess I got 2 questions. Firstly, why didn't you go to Bitcoin over gold? And then what led you to creating your own token?
I knew that Bitcoin existed. Everybody knew that it was out there. I had been a pretty hardcore gold and silver guy for about a decade. I'd never really dug into Bitcoin to understand what it was. In my mind, and I like to use this phrase that I was guilty of contempt prior to investigation. I had kind of negative feelings towards crypto, but I'd never really done any investigation until I started Unicorn Fart Dust and was forced to maybe initially start to understand what was going on, and it kind of just opened up a whole new world for me, a world of not just crypto but of understanding about what crypto is and understanding about what communities mean.
Honestly, that's one reason I'm such a big fan of you and UFD is how open-minded you've been and how quickly you've adapted and learned, and not from everyone, but honestly from the people that I feel like are smart and are cutting edge and have great thoughts and theories. But tell me, why, if you were not anti-crypto but not looking into crypto, did you launch a crypto?
Yeah, well, I was becoming more and more crypto curious, especially over the last year. I'd always referred to cryptocurrency and paper money. I kind of lumped them together as being unicorn fart dust. And as the last year went on, you can check all my previous videos. I wasn't maybe as negative on crypto as I had been in previous years. And then when the presidential election occurred in the United States when Donald Trump won, and it seemed to me to just cement in my mind that crypto's here to stay, it's going to happen. And I really started to kind of adjust the way that I looked at it. Now, I in no way had any plans to become a crypto guy. 6 weeks ago today, it was Sunday, it was the day before I created Unicorn Fart Dust. If you and I didn't know each other, I didn't know anyone in crypto. To me, crypto was still kind of this foreign land that I'd never visited yet. In my mind, it was somewhere that I was very maybe cynical towards, but I was very curious as well. So I won't rehash the whole story, but 6 weeks ago tomorrow, which I believe should be like December 16th, that was when after my wife had sent me this article about pump.fun and about the market caps, I knew that meme coins were getting some really big market caps, and I was interested in that and was actually talking about it on my gold and silver channel. But anyway, an article that Susie sent me talking about pump.fun is what really kicked all this off.
Okay, I got multiple questions from that. So you see like extraordinary size market caps. That's obviously piquing your curiosity. You hear about pump.fun. You're like, okay, well, I can also launch a crypto. Tell me, I've heard rumors, but I haven't heard it directly from you. How quickly did you reach the bonding curve on pump.fun? And what sort of expectations did you have going into it?
I had no I created it. It took me about 3 hours because I had never owned a crypto and I didn't have a wallet. Everybody knows the story. They said, you're going to need your wallet. I went upstairs and got my leather Boomer wallet. It took about 3 hours. There's a 10-minute YouTube video that I watched, which one of these days I'll post it on Twitter to thank the guy that made the video. But I made it on a Monday and I kind of forgot about it. It was a Monday afternoon. I created it. I was like, okay, whatever, Did
you make it? Did you make it on a live stream or did you make it just privately?
No, I made it privately. So it was on Monday morning. I always do a live stream in the morning. I did my normal gold and silver live stream. That should be either the 15th or 16th, but it was definitely a Monday of December. And then when I finished that live stream, and I had a phone conversation with another friend of mine, and I was talking about the market caps of the meme coins. And then I said to him, I should start a meme coin because I'd already read that article. And he said, yeah, and you should call it Unicorn Fart Dust because you always talk about, and I said, you know what? I think I'll do that. And then that's what kicked off the process on Monday. This friend of mine had also sent me, there's a new video game coming out, not Call of Duty. I'm not a video game guy, but there was a meme that was going around of a little short video from this new game where the unicorn was blasting somebody with their through their backside, like, I guess, unicorn fart dust, whatever. And he had sent that to me. So that started the process. I did it on a Monday afternoon. I launched it. Tuesday morning came around. I did my normal gold and silver live stream. Didn't talk about crypto. Didn't talk about unicorn fart dust at all. I finished. I was sitting right here, kind of wrapping up my business, and then it dawned on me. I'm like, oh yeah, I made that crypto yesterday. I should make another quick live stream. So I did like a 15-minute live stream where I said, I created a crypto and it's unicorn fart dust and don't buy it. I just kind of, and then I walked people through. I showed the pump.fun webpage, which showed at the time, this was 24 hours later, that the market cap was $6,000. And somebody actually bought it during this live stream. But still didn't really think much of it. It was later that night, the Tuesday night, so maybe about 30 hours into it, when my life was forever changed, Benji.
So that went from 6,000 because of the live stream straight up to whatever, $50,000-$70,000, did it?
I guess. I don't know, what transpired, how it became so viral, but over that period, I guess I probably did the live stream around noon or 1 o'clock on Tuesday. And by 6 or 7 o'clock, my inbox was blowing up. I was already poked and prodded by a number of scammers. Thankfully, it was just insane, right? And I think it was the next morning, the market cap had shot up to like over 200 million. It was either the next morning or the 2 mornings later. And that was when I pulled out my old trusty of my 5-year-old cell phone and looked at my Phantom wallet and thought, what happened here?
Right.
It was crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
A little more crazy than the price rise in silver over the same 24-hour period.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely.
And so I got a couple more crypto questions, but really quick, if you're okay talking about it, how did you meet Susie, or Upstairs Susie, do we call her?
Upstairs Susie and I were internet dating pioneers. We've been married 20 years, and we really were. I think we're maybe the first couple that ever met online. There used to be a website called Match.com, and we used to hide this because there was a stigma attached to that. But we met. It's been great. We have 2 kids together. We've been married 20 years in December, and she's awesome. Upstairs, here she is here. Oh, I have her turned on. I better turn her off, Benji, or we'll get comments. But that's Susie. That's how she communicates to me during our live streams. And I wouldn't be here. I would not be here. We'll save those stories for another day. But Susie's a wonderful wife, wonderful person. Very nice.
Incredible. Really incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so you launched on Pump Fun, basically straight to a $200 million market cap. We can get into some more specifics here. Do you think there's a healthy thing in hindsight to go straight to 200 million?
It's certainly something that I've never experienced before. I think that it was exciting and it was good. As I look back on it now, 6 weeks later, and I knew nothing. I am a complete novice, right? I'm going to emphasize one more time. 6 weeks ago today, I'd never owned a crypto in my life. So I had no idea kind of what would transpire during that period. Now, the fact that it shot up like it did, was great because it forced me immediately to kind of learn about as much as I could in a very hyper-focused fashion about what's going on with meme coins. And, it was crazy, right? Then it pulled back to about a $60 million market cap at one point. And that's when, at that point, I knew I'd already made the decision I wasn't going to sell the remaining 6.5 million beans. We call them beans, but tokens, coins, whatever you want to call them. I was like, I just knew that this was something special, right? And that I was going to hold on, and that on the other side of all those beans that I own, there's a person, right? There's people. Each one of those and the community won me over very quickly. I mean, there's nothing like the community of investors in meme coins. I mean, I think there's just a lot of really, really great people. But I didn't answer your question. I think it was normal from what I see, like with hot meme coins, that they shoot up out of the gate and then they pull back, right? And that's that consolidation period where from what I understand, a lot of the coins go away, right? They're kind of what are referred to as gambling tokens or whatever. And I wanted, because I knew right away I wanted to be part of this for on a long-term basis. I want unicorn fart dust, and I think that we're not out of the woods, but I think we've proven that we are going to be around for a long time, and that we are going to go on a good ride. And part of that was me making commitments to the community about the fact that I would not sell. Like, I am not selling. And at first that was 10 days. And then on Christmas, that would have been the day that I could have sold. On Christmas morning, I wrote it down. I have it written underneath Billy, the unicorn there, on top of the MoonPay box. I wrote down that I would again re-up my guarantee, but for another 3 months through March 25th of this year. And I had no plans to sell at that point either. And that, I think, allowed the community to have faith in me, and trust. And I told people I'll be on every day. I'll do a live stream every day. I can't guarantee that it'll be how long it'll be, but I'll guarantee you that I'll be here every day, and that I'm aligned with you. And I began to learn on many different ways just how special and unique this unicorn fart dust situation is.
It's beautiful. And I would 100% say, from my perspective, because I had a friend recommend me early in the first 24 hours that this was the next thing. My experience too was, I went over to have a look. I bought straight away because I trust my friend. And then I started investigating. I'm like, is this something that I flip in 24 hours? Or is this one of the next potential, say, 10 Morad meme coin pick could go on multi-cycles? And the biggest difference that made me think it was a longer term play is you and your authenticity and your honesty and genuine nature. Is that something? How did you get that? And because to me, it almost seems like a too good to be true, perfect fit, where like you really are the wholesome guy that the meme coin world was missing.
Well, I'm not perfect. Like, nobody's perfect. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a perfect guy. But I'm 54 years old. As I grew older and older and older in life, right? I don't want to say I'm an old man, because I'm not. I have a very, very curious nature, a very energetic nature. I like to create things. But as I got older and older and older, I began to value more and more and more just being honest with people, and like being very careful about what I say or what I promise to people, because I want to be able to make sure 100% that I can come through with what I do. And so I don't make a lot of promises, right? Like, I promise that I'll show up every day. I promise that I'm not going to sell. To me, and I'm also selfish, Benji. To me, it feels better to be nice. It feels better to be good, and it feels better to be honest. And it makes life much simpler. So that's what I do. Am I perfect? No, right? I won't say I'm sitting here and say I've lived, a perfect guy, blah, blah. I think I'm a good guy. I think I'm a person that has put a lot of effort into making sure to earn, because I earn trust, right? Like you and I just met today. It takes time. And, and I realized that when I shifted from gold and silver to unicorn fart dust, that I needed to prove to people. Like, you can look back at my history, and I've live streamed every day, but until I show up here every day and let you know that I'm committed and that I'm going to do it, that it's earned one day at a time. And I think part of that helps too with UFD, that we get more and more and more what we call diamond hooved people on a daily basis, because people see that, see what I'm doing and see what the community's doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Have you always been energetic? Because I feel like your energy when you jump on the live stream and you're pumped up and you're excited, that's a real key to your success, in my opinion.
Yeah, hold on. Somebody wants to say hi to you real quick. One more time. Come here.
Here we go.
You'll see Jasper. Jasper's going to head up the stairs. Jasper was down here, Benji. You asked if I've always been energetic? Yes, I've always been an energetic person. I've always been a person who is creative, but keeps it within the guardrails, right? Like I'm not like down here, throwing paint on the walls and making crazy art, which is nothing against people that do that. But like, I think my willingness to look at creating a meme coin like Unicorn Fart Dust is a great example of like, I'm willing to try new things. My risk, right, was $100. Okay. And I almost didn't do it because I'm also very frugal. And I sat right there and thought, do I really want, I thought that's 3 ounces of silver, or that's me taking Susie out for a dinner. And I mean, there was about a 2-minute period then, but I'm willing to take risk. I'm willing to learn new things. I do like to learn, right? I'm not like one of these guys, like I'm a lifelong, I learn something new every day, but I do love the idea of learning new things and learning better ways to do things. It's always excited me. So.
Yeah, and you've always been a pioneer. You had early, maybe the first online dating guy.
Right. Susie and I are the further, and I'm joking, but we got to be in the top 1,000 in the world that met online, because it was like dial-up internet, AOL dial-up internet on a Gateway 2000 computer. So yeah.
Which means Susie's a pioneer too. I mean, she had to make her own profile.
Right.
To be one. Okay, so you versus other meme coins. What separates UFD from the millions of other meme coins out there, and that you think is going to help it be one of the best performers, the best communities in 2025?
I think it goes back to the, I guess you would call it origin story behind it, that from day one, initially I owned 1.2%, that this was not created by a team of 20 MBAs and millions of dollars backing it, that it was created by, one guy with 80% brain capacity and $100. And that from the very beginning, it was an organic story that grew and grew and grew because of the community. I like this. I have to be careful how I say this, but Unicorn Fart Dust was spawned in a pool of FUD. I mean, I didn't believe my very first video that I made about it, right? The live stream that I did 24 hours was saying, don't buy this. So the strength, the fact that it, people say, oh, people are putting out FUD. I'm like, well, Unicorn Fart Dust was born in FUD. So, it's fine with that. I think it's the community. Now, the other thing that I think is interesting is, and I've asked all the top people, because I've had the benefit of getting out to talk to some of the leaders in the meme coin and the crypto world. And I ask every one of them, so what's keeping Unicorn Fart Dust from being as big as, or bigger than any other meme coin? Doge right now, I think, is the biggest. And they all have the same answer. They all say there's nothing keeping Unicorn Fart Dust. So it's the power, the organic power of the community. I think that it's me showing up every day and us building more and more people. But the thing that really excites me, sorry, Benji, I have one more prop I need to pull out, is this, right? Is the jug of beans, right? There's only 999 million Unicorn Fart Dust coins. We call them beans, right? And as that jug gets filled up with more and more diamond hooved people, right, it leaves, at some point, there starts to be a shortage of beans on the market. And when anything goes into shortage, the price goes up, right? The value goes up, and that brings more people in, which, creates more value in the community and continues to grow it. I was shocked yesterday to learn that Dogecoin, and I'm not putting Dogecoin down. I'm not competing with anybody, but not all meme coins have a finite supply. Dogecoin can create more coins, which I didn't realize, right? So I think that when you look at the combination of the community and the organic growth and the fact that we are capped, period, at 900, and I mean, I wish I could create more, but I can't, and I wouldn't anyway. I wouldn't, right? I mean, I think that's also part of it, is that the community trusts me that I'm not going to dilute them by minting more coins. I have one coin, unicorn fart dust. I can never do it again, right? I can't make another unicorn fart dust, and I'm not going to sell. I think that gives a lot of confidence in our community and in our future. And I just think that UFD is, as I've learned, and look, bear in mind, I've got 5 weeks and 6 days of experience in this industry, but I really feel like we are very unique and special on many different levels.
I agree. And you're not Jerron Powell. There's no more inflating the supply. And so really quick, the beans. So people will send you beans in the mail, and that signifies that they're diamond hooves and don't intend to sell.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then, and the line is the point where the supply is going to be dwindling if you've got so many people diamond hoofing and not selling their tokens. Is that right?
Yes. Right.
Awesome. And then you say you're not planning to sell, but you're also buying more and more, aren't you?
Yeah.
And so what is your long-term plan for yourself if you don't plan to sell?
I think that there are ways to monetize the unicorn fart dust name, maybe school supplies, maybe different options, as long as they don't dilute the value of the coins, the value of the beans. And the other thing that's been going on is a lot of support from the community. People know that this was a different situation from the very get-go. So I think that combination could lead to a situation where maybe we're not in a situation where we're looking to sell our beans. The other thing that can happen is as we do get to go back to that jug, more and more diamond hoof people, and there's that little supply. If the price goes way up, and I say this to people all the time, right? Maybe you only have, instead of having to sell 30% of your beans to pay for your kid to go to college, you only got to sell 1% or 2% or 3%. It's just such a very unique situation that, and on top of that, Benji, Susie and I are very simple people. We have 2 cars that are both 10 years old. We live in a house it's just an average. It's a very nice house. We love it. Great neighborhood. I'm never going to have a Lambo. Okay. I am going to have a unicorn promotional car, the Duster that some of our community members are making for us. And I want that before I want a Lambo anyway. So, we live a real simple life. And, I work another little job at night right by my house, which is a wonderful, stress-free environment that I've been at now for more than 10 years. I mean, we're pretty simple people, right? So I don't know, I don't have any big aspirations that are going to lead us to needing to monetize, to make sure we need a lot of money anytime soon.
Awesome. I think that's powerful. You said you've been talking to some of the top people in the meme coin space. Who have you chatted to, and what have you learned? Here I've talked to, we'll give him a plug if you don't mind. I talked to Luca from Pudgy Penguins, and he was really, I talked to Luca. I talked with Gordon Wiley from the Bored Apes. I've talked to him several times. I talked to a guy named Min from Min's Dynasty. Min's super nice guy. And I think the biggest thing that I learned, because there's so much going on right now with Unicorn Fart Dust, so many different, possibilities and different people wanting to do different things. And I think the biggest thing that I learned from all of them was the importance, and I knew this in my gut, and it was what I was thinking anyway, that right now
I am laser focused on one thing, and that is the UFD community, because the community and the growth and the robustness of the community in the end is what's going to create success for the coin and further opportunities down the road. So for me to like jump the gun on different whatever idea, you know, all the stuff that's out there, and you can only imagine the people that are approaching us. No, and that's what I tell people. I am affiliated with, I'm supporting one thing and one thing only. And that's, to me, it's two things, but it's the same thing. It's the community and the coin. And they're like a unicorn horn. They merge into one. They're the same thing.
Beautiful. And what are your intuitively, or even what you've learned, keys to building the best community possible?
I think you got to show up and be trustworthy and have kind of a common goal. I think that the people that are invested into the Unicorn Fart Dust beans want trustworthiness, number one. Unfortunately, a common theme that I hear about from many people, and I wish I'd been smart enough to plan this, was this idea that that they've been burned in the past. And that they, what they like about Unicorn Fart Dust is that they feel like they're in a good, wholesome, trustworthy environment, and that we want what's good. You know, good attracts good is our mantra, and that we have this kind of shared mission and shared idea that you can be successful, and you can also be honest and have integrity at the same time.
Awesome. Very wholesome. I also wanted to ask, can UFD go up forever? At least in my opinion, it's always going to have pullbacks. And from my perspective, it's a lot easier to be really bullish on it at the 100, 200 mil market cap. But as you climb into the billions and say you're one of the top tokens at a 40 bill market cap, would you be pushing people to buy in for a longer term vision, or what's your take on that?
You know, I would if I believed that the community was still robust and growing at that point. Which I think that if right, I can't give, I don't have a crystal ball, but as the community continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger and bigger, we will see bigger and bigger prices in the token and the beans. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything stopping Unicorn Fart Dust, just like there's nothing that's stopping any other meme coin, and we're just as good. And again, you know, I'm a little biased, and it's really the one that I'm laser focused on, but I think that the community at UFD has proven, right, that when we're united and we're kind of working towards a common goal, that pretty much, I mean, look, anything's possible, and this community already proved that to me from the humble beginnings when I put $100 into the project.
And then I hear you've got your horn pointed at one thing, which is UFD. But if you didn't run or own UFD and you came across crypto and meme coins, are there other projects that would pique your interest more than others?
I think if they presented themselves to me and I did some investigative work and they were run by honest, good people, that they would pique my interest, right? That are looking out for, I mean, look, I treat people the way that I want to be treated. That's right. It's a goofy saying, but I heard it probably 10, 15 years ago. Somebody said, you know, be the change that you want to see in the world, right? Because I was probably sitting around being cynical. I'm like, oh, everything's, you know, the financial system, the housing market, the job market, the monetary, you know, the Federal Reserve, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, well, then be the change that you want to see. And so, yeah, if I saw good people, you know, running good projects and that were treating their investors the way that I think I would treat investors, and this has given me a chance, you know, even though, you know, I'm very grateful for the 6.5 million tokens, coins, beans that I own. I'm right in there with everybody else. I'm the developer, the boomer dev, they call me, even though I'm not a boomer. And I think I'm the face of it, of Unicorn Fart Dust. And then I have my kind of my umbrella, which is Ron's Basement. So I can just kind of control my part of the picture of if I'm talking about Unicorn Fart Dust. But that's what I would look for in other people, whether it's a stock I'm buying or friends or anything else.
Yes. And you talk about growing the community and how the community is like the core of everything. Where do you see physically, or I guess digitally, where is your community? Like what metric are you using to grow it, and what platform?
We are hyper focused on crypto. I guess they call it crypto Twitter. I'm still confused with whether it's I look, should call it X or Twitter, but anyway, that's what we're focused on. That is our main channel of communications. However, like the live streams, they go on to YouTube. We have a good audience on YouTube, LinkedIn, and one more, Facebook, right? Because our community is quite literally, we have newborn babies that dusters send me pictures of their newborn babies with unicorn outfits on, all the way to really people in their 80s, almost 90 years old, but they're also spread all over the world. And it feels like since we appeal to such a broad range, that we will try other platforms. TikTok is one that we're kind of looking at as well. But at the end of the day, right now, the reality of the situation is we are strongest and have the biggest following on crypto Twitter. And that allows us to reach all those age groups, also reach the range of geographies, throughout the world that we're talking to.
And is that BasementRon? Is that
Yeah.
the one you talk about? Yeah. Awesome. So, and again, I know you've got your horn pointed at one thing, but and that you're UFD deep in your heart. But there's derivative coins popping up, making a UFD ecosystem about things in your life, your cat Jasper. And again, I know you've got your horn pointed at one thing, but do you think it's a good thing for UFD to have smaller derivative coins, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a function of the success of the community, and whether it's NFT projects, whether it's derivative coins, how do I say, it would only be happening because of the strength of the UFD community. And I think at the end of the day, it helps because it does refocus even more attention on the core, which is Unicorn Fart Dust, which is why I repeatedly say, like, I'm not affiliated with any other coins. I'm not giving my support or not support. I'm fine with it. I think, to this point, we've been very open source with everything. And that's another part of what maybe the community likes about the situation is, we're unique in so many ways, and really, the community made this happen. I wish I had been smart enough to plan this out, but I certainly was not, right? This was just such a like a magic, miraculous thing that was really driven by the community. So, I encourage the community, be creative, right? They make all kinds of crazy videos and memes about me. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. As long as at the end of the day, it's being done because of the strength of the core, which is UFD. Hey, I think it's fine.
Awesome. And have you spoken to Morad?
No, I have not. No, Morad had a very big impact on me very early of a 20. Well, everybody's, I guess, seen it. He gave a talk. I think it was in Singapore back in September or October. And a gentleman named Drew Kim, who's a friend of ours and somebody who made contact with me early on, sent me that video. And I didn't watch it for like 2 days. And when I did, it was like for a lack of a better way to explain it, like a religious experience where I realized, like, wow, this is real. Now, it kind of cemented a number of things that I was already observing, even during the first 2, 3, 4 days of the process. But like this is real. Like there is real value in a community, like tangible, real value. And so no, I've not spoken with him, but I've got a lot of respect for him. Definitely.
Me too. Me too.
You know,
If someone comes across UFD and they haven't really been experienced in the Morad thesis, or that's the meme coin super cycle, and they just say there's no utility to that, that's silly, you're just going to lose all your money, it's a scam. What do you say to people, specifically to the people who say there's no utility? What's your thoughts on that?
You mean me 6 weeks ago today? That guy?
Precisely.
I talk to myself all the time. I would ask him a question. Right? And the question would be this: what's the most valuable thing in your life? And most everybody will answer that question by describing a relationship. They'll say, my mother, my father, my spouse, my child, my best friend, right? I don't think anybody will answer that question by saying, oh, my, $3,000 in cash that I have in my wallet, or my gold, my silver, or anything like that. That when you ask people what they value most in life, it's always a relationship. So when I look at Unicorn Fart Dust, and I look at the fact that the value is there based on the relationship that the holders have with the community, I would say that then pretty much to me proves that the community creates a lot of value, and that the community agrees it's valuable, and that's where the real value in meme coins, not just Unicorn Fart Dust, but I think any meme coin, it's based upon the value that's created by the community. And then that value gets translated into price. And then as the price goes up further, right, that gets translated into more people paying attention and wondering what's going on and joining the community. It can kind of become almost like a spiral of a good spiral, as opposed to like a debt spiral or anything else.
And so what's your long-term goal with this? How do you think you can make it multi-cycle, and how high do you think you can go? Are you going for the #1 meme spot?
Hey, we'll go for #1. Absolutely. Yeah. Long term, I think that Unicorn Fart Dust can go almost anywhere. Right. And I don't give it like a ton of thought, because to me, thinking out 1 year, 10 years, 20 years down the road, what I really need to be focused on is, we have this unlimited potential ahead of us. I believe that 100%. But it's all predicated upon what we all do today. What I do, my part, right, which is doing interviews with great people like you, doing my live streams, communicating with the community on crypto Twitter. That's my part. And then the community, they do their part, but it's one day at a time. We aren't living a year or 10 years from now. We are living right now in the present moment. And, I tell people this all the time. I'm like, because I used to trade. I was never a day trader, but like, say, like an active trader or whatever. I tell people, like, maybe make a decision, like you're going to buy something, you're going to be a part of Unicorn Fart Dust or any community. Make a decision, you're going to be part of that. Try not to trade so much, because that takes so much mental energy, and it's such an emotional thing to go through. Set that aside. Buy something, be diamond hooved if you're buying Unicorn Fart Dust, and use all that energy that you would have spent trying to figure out, what to trade and how to trade it, and use it towards something good, right? Being part of the community, doing some good, that type thing. And I think that in the end, people, that resonates with them, and it leads to a better outcome. Because, and this is not a show about trading, but statistically, most people who are active traders, most, not all, there's some people who are great at it, but most wind up losing money anyway. So that's I think long term is important. I think it's going to be great, but right now I think the community is focused on the present and what we can do each and every day to keep building up the number of people that are holding the token.
I love it. And so I'll go last question for you, Ron.
Yeah.
Actually, last observation that I made, and I don't know if you do this already, but I'm curious on implementing something like this and what you would think about it. Have you heard of the meme token Giga Chad?
I've heard of it, yes. And I briefly looked at it. Isn't it like an AI generated, like good looking guy?
Apparently he's a real guy, but I think he's had
He's
some
a real guy?
AI. Apparently,
I don't know much
something
about
more
it. Yeah, I don't know.
I've also heard you're quite the Giga Chad. I heard you're 6'8" or something.
6'4". I'm 6'4". Yes. Yeah.
Impressive stature. So Giga, they reached out to me when I covered them on YouTube, and they were talking about how when you buy into Giga, you're supposed to do 30 push-ups.
Yeah.
And so part of their utility and part of the thought process is like they're making the world healthier, pro-masculinity stronger. Would you have something like doing a good deed or something every time someone buys UFD so that your utility could also lean on making the world a better place?
Yeah. I mean, our mantra, which has really taken off, is good attracts good. You know, this is all evolving. Now we do have the Duster, which it's a unicorn car that's being built that I plan, to drive around, not just the United States, but eventually, put it on a boat and bring it over to Australia maybe and say hello to my friend Benjamin to let people kind of interact with it. I mean, it's going to be it's very cool. It's like professional car that community members are having done. There's other ideas. I mean, we are 6 weeks into this, right? I mean, we've had an idea of having even like a little amusement park type place, depending on how big this gets, where people can come. A big part of the fun that we have are the memes and the little videos that people make, AI generated. I might add most of them. I can't dance like that guy in the videos, but there's a guy named Royal who was one of the first, but there's a lot of people making great content for Unicorn Fart Test, but that we would have an actual Royal theater where, we would have highlight reels playing of different things. So, yeah, we are, we are constantly evolving. I think at the core right now, it's good attracts good. And people are on a kind of regular basis, posting some of their good deeds that they're doing. I think at this point, the good that we're doing within the meme coin sector is just giving people a place where they feel safe, being honest and being able to kind of operate with integrity and get trust, and building up that trust. So there's a lot more, coming down the road, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting journey.
I agree. Lastly, is there anything that I haven't asked you yet that you think I should be asking you about?
No, and I appreciate that question because I would ask that same question when I would interview people on my YouTube channel, but you did a great job. I've enjoyed. I can't believe that you're all the way in Australia. I'm in St. Louis. What time is it there? Is it morning or?
It was 5 a.m. now, 5:50.
Man, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too,
Benjamin. No, I mean, or Benji, getting up so early. Man, I'd love to see you later in the day when you're fully awake, because you've done a great job. And no, I mean, just for the viewers that are joining us, right? Like you and I are recording this, and it'll be made into videos, and that the viewer is like the most important part. And those out there that are dusters, they're the most important part. But I appreciate all the people that are watching it. I appreciate you doing it, and I'll look forward to seeing you again sometime.
Me too. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Benji.
Thank you, Ron.